Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I'm your Loremaster, here today for another God video. But not only that, this is the video for the last of the 20 main deities of Pathfinder. After 2 years of working through these piece by piece, it is only fitting that we should end with the Lady of Graves herself, Pharasma. As per usual, let's start with the proper place to find information about Pharasma and her forethought into the future. The glimpse of her information can be found in the book Gods and Magic for both editions. Then we were shown a true vision in the second book of the Crown Adventure Path, titled Trial of the Beast. A second look was given in the book Inner Sea Gods. Details were filled in the book Faiths of Balance, and a clearer background was found in Planar Handbook. And as for the deeper secrets of the universe, well, they were right under our noses. We found a lot of them in the Crown Adventure Path itself. Legend tells once there was a universe before this one. When that timeline ended, everything was reset, ending everything and beginning everything. In these stories, there is only one creature who survived to come to this new reality. That is Pharasma, the deity who presides over death, but also over birth. The one who watches over every soul from the beginning to the end, and all the way to be judged by her beyond that point. And so shall this continue until this universe ends, and another takes her place to keep watch over that new beginning. Which, starting this video off, let's look into today's first side tangent. The part of the show where age and name are just a number. The Windsong Testaments, in their recitals of legends, talk about Pharasma and the beginnings of the universe. After Pharasma, there were the first 8 beings. The Speaker of the Depths, Desna, Serenre, Asmodeus, and Ilus, and between them Arkakek. Even the 8th, the one who learned fear, might have given birth to Robagug, or be Robagug. That's never made clear. However, it is the 7th, the one specifically not to be remembered. That is our side tangent. Since death had not quite yet come, the 7th one instead found itself bound to Pharasma's throne until it was his time. We have no further information on the one known as the Bound Prince, on whether his time has already come, or whether its time is still coming in the future. Pharasma is known in 3 forms. First, a kindly midwife, helping bring children into the world. Second, she takes the form of a prophetess, hair stark white and eyes turned only to the future. That said, since the loss of prophecy at the beginning of the Age of Lost Omens, this form has more and more often been portrayed as wild, hair frazzled and face dirty. Finally, the form which most know her as. She appears as a reaper, a woman in black sitting upon a throne, judging the souls of the dead one by one to their place in eternity. As a deity of prophecy, some claim that Pharasma knew the coming death of Eredin, but kept it to herself for reasons unknown. I mean, considering how many of her followers went mad at that event, you would think she would give them some kind of warning. Now, in the Age of Lost Omens, her followers take in the now often half-mad prophets, who are first to observe thousands of different futures. And as one would imagine from the Lady of Death, she is not a fan of the undead, and instructs her followers to hunt down and slaughter undead wherever they can be found. The typical followers of Pharasma are midwives, morticians, expectant mothers, white necromancers, and all shades of fortune tellers. And commoners. When you are the deity of death, you get a lot of general followers working to get your protection. You will see many people trace a spell upon their chests to ward off evil. As a goddess of birth, she promotes marriage, but is not against adoption, contraception, or children outside of wedlock. There was also a debate on whether suicide is a sin or part of fate, but we're not going to be getting into that one today. It is Pharasman tradition to have an entire family meet a new child on the third day after its birth. And it's also a tradition that they need to have a name by then, otherwise they'll live a life of misfortune. The burial practices of faith are given to us pretty in-depth, so let us take a moment to go through them as our second side tangent. When a person dies, the body is cleaned, dressed in a burial shroud, complete with prayer slips. A wake is then had the night before the burial, to both honor the dead and to make sure that it does not rise as undead. They are then interred upon holy ground in tombs ranging from ossuaries to private crypts. The church works to ensure these places are not disturbed by rerouting any city products that would even touch the graveyard. Tombstones with notches for candles are used to mark the graves, allowing those in mourning to visit their loved ones at any time of day. For her clergy, they tend to travel in threes, acting out the three aspects of birth, death, and fate. Of course, smaller locales tend to have one person act in all three roles, and the ones representing fate have taken more of a backseat these past 100 years. Ranking in the faith is usually based on seniority, the oldest having the highest ranking. Priests appear at the birth of the child in order to help ensure it has a long life, and run funerals to ensure safe passage to the afterlife. They protect graveyards from thieves and undead, especially the undead. All priests carry a double-edged dagger known as a skein, which is used in many rituals, and can be used as a weapon if necessary. Pharasma's temples take the form of great Gothic cathedrals surrounded by graveyards. These places are known for having vast catacombs which to allow those who die to rest peacefully. But honestly, the tombs always go to the highest bidder, and are mostly filled with a combination of the wealthiest members of the congregation, as well as former priests. Pharasma's realm is the plain known as the Boneyard. This is the final destination for all souls. They march one by one before her throne to be judged, sent to one of the many afterlives based on their actions in life. To assist in the process, swarms of psychopomps flow through the realm, doing duties such as bringing souls to the side, recording the histories of the universe, comforting both the living and the dead, and acting in the capacity of lower judges to examine certain cases. But at the end of the day, Pharasma has the final say. But there is one more location with strong connections to Pharasma, so let's take a brief look at Side Tangent 3, the River of Souls. When a creature in the material plane dies, its soul moves on towards the Boneyard and Pharasma's judgment. Due to the amount of souls traveling at once, the line takes the form of a river flowing through the inner planes to the outer planes, passing through the astral plane, a line of silver, only distinguished from close-up. Due to agreements between the various planes, there are guardians of almost all outsiders whose duty is to guard the souls who will one day likely make more of themselves. Of course, there are predators like demons and night hags who make it their goal to try to take the souls. And even higher on the food chain is the outer god Nibeleth, who eats predators as they eat their prey. Now, what else do we know of the Lady of Graves? Where is her worship the strongest? First, she has a strong presence among the Vasarian people, who are solidary in Ustalav, and those who are cousins in Vasarian. But Ustalav is because of her championship against the undead. And likewise, her faith stands against the undead in Osirian and Tuvia. Next, the Shackles and Brevoy. Within Tian Sha, she is found in the inner sea-connected Mandar, the horrifying lands of Shenmen, reincarnation-connected lands of Ziha, the above markets of Goka, keeping separate from those below. Bloodline-focused the Tang Ma, the spirit lands of Shagang, and the peaceful lands of Shokuro. Her holy text is The Bone in a Spiral, a book once written by a prophet, with sections on childbirth and burial added later. They usually take the form of various scrolls, with the ones needed for a ceremony usually being the only ones a priest would bring. There are two main festivals to Pharasma: the procession of the forgotten souls to ask Pharasma to let them live one more year, and the Day of Bones to remind all that one day all must die. One more thing of note is a unique artifact to Pharasma and her worshippers, which means it is time for a moment. Hello, I'm the Laughing Salesman here for Side Tangent for been a while, everyone. Glad I'm able to stop by. So today's Side Tangent is what is known as the Raven's Head. A gold-plated, plus the undead Bane Mace, which was owned by a Crusader of Pharasma, who marched during the Shining Crusades. When the prince who wielded it lost his life, it became lost to time as well. The wielder of this staff, if a follower of Pharasma, gains the ability to channel Smite and gains the ability to disrupt undead hit with it. Finally, allies and Edogons. Most deities play nice with Pharasma since she determines how many souls end up coming to their realms. Even Xiphus, the one whose whole thing is hating Pharasma, does not start a fight with her. Really, the only enemies of Pharasma are, say it with me, undead. For divine servitors, we have, starting off with, the Endless Gravestone, a circular gravestone written in many languages. He serves as an excellent messenger and is skilled at defending his allies. Echo of the Lost Divinity is a ghost who looks kind of like Eridan. Actually, he looks a lot like Eridan. Finally, the Steward of the Skein is a woman in a suit of armor and skulls. This winged messenger is focused on restoring a balance to fate across the universe. She also might have been driven slightly mad at the end of Prophecies, but seriously, it's hard to tell. But that brings us to the end of today's video. And with it, we have now gone to the main 20 deities of Pathfinder's universe, plus 2 from Starfinder, plus various minor deities I will need to actually go back and count someday. Either way, we still have plenty of minor deities to go through, but we will worry about that next month. For proceeding on with this month, we are going to begin a large-ish project starting next week. And we'll be done just in time for Gen Con. See you then.